Not the Expert dropped a 49-minute long KENNSAW State rebuild. It's only 1 year, but I wanted to break it down, and we'll do a lot of pause in this video, talking through some of the things we see on the screen. It's really the first time we have the opportunity of seeing the game and the whole Dynasty mode without, the devs only limiting things that we can see. So really want to break it down. If y'all want to see the original video, I'll make sure to link it in the description. But if y'all like this style of content, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. I'll be dropping builds all year, rebuilds all year, different things. I'm doing my temple rebuild day 1, so if y'all want to see that, make sure y'all subscribe. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in and see what we got here.
I'm going to be showing one full season of Dynasty mode and showing you a complete guide on how to recruit. Thanks to EA for allowing me to capture this early. This is on an earlier build and not part of the day 1 patch. I'm assuming most people will want a challenge in their first rebuild, so I'm going to be showing you what it's like controlling a 1-star program. KENNSAW State is one of the low.
First thing I notice here, the overall, 71 overall. This is a new program entering the FBS, and I guess you could argue they would be one of the worst programs out there just because they're brand new and they're listed as a 71 overall. So I'm interested to see if we have like any 60 overall programs, maybe. I don't want to name any schools. I don't want to piss anyone off. But first school that came to mind is Kent State that went, 1-11 this past year. But super cool screen right here. Got the overalls, defense.
Most
okay,
overall
71.
rated teams in the game, and I think it'll be a great example of what it's going to look like when you're a lower star team. You can be a head coach in this game, or an offensive coordinator, or a defensive coordinator if you so choose. I think it's more interesting to create your own coach, so that's what we're going to do here. So when choosing a coach, you have to decide what is your main archetype going to be right from the get-go. You got motivator, recruiter, and tactician. Later on, I'm going to go way more in depth for a coaching abilities tier list, but for this video, we'll keep it light. You can look at motivator as an easy way to get XP for your players over the long haul. Tactician is going to give you direct ratings boosts right away. So if you're trying to be win now, I'd probably go tactician. If you're trying to develop players over the long haul, go motivator. But I think what everyone is going to be choosing from the get-go is going to be recruiter, and it makes it way easier to bring in higher overall players. So that is what I'm going to be choosing for this video. Choosing your play.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people will probably pick recruiter. I'm gonna go motivator for my own temple rebuild, just because the players we do have, I want to be able to develop them. And I think I'll go recruiter with my offense and defensive coordinators. But super interesting.
Playbook is incredibly important for your team needs, because if you run an air raid offense, you're going to need way more wide receivers than if you did a run heavy option.
That's cool. That's cool. You can pick your playbook. It's a little bit concerning because I wanted to use my offense and defensive coordinator playbook, but I totally get why you could pick it.
For this one, I'm going to keep it as KENNSAW State's default at the pistol. You notice we can set the pipeline for my head coach.
Set the pipeline?
Because KENNSAW State is just outside of Metro Atlanta, I think it'd be...
Wow, that's interesting. That's a game changer. I have to go back. So he could set his pipeline as... I seen Hawaii and then Indiana, and he's located in Georgia as he's KENNSAW State. That's interesting. That's interesting. Wow. I want to see how that plays out, because why wouldn't I just set my pipeline as Texas, or one of the states that, or maybe Georgia, that produce the most talent? Why wouldn't I just set it as one of those states?
Pipeline for my head coach. Because KENNSAW State is just outside of Metro Atlanta, I think it'd be smart to have that as my pipeline, because this can directly stack with my team's pipeline already. Now, you only got 2 options for shirts here. You got the polo, the sweater, quarter zip thing, so that's what I'm going with. KENNSAW State is a brand new FBS team, so they have no history here, which is going to have the contract goals be incredibly low at only winning 4 games. So I've got a lot of breathing room here as a head coach.
That's cool.
When you
I like
actually sign the contract, your coach physically signs it in there, which I think is neat. When we get to the coaching abilities tree, you'll notice that there is a ton of different options here. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a coach abilities breakdown later on, so stay tuned for that video. Don't want to overwhelm you here. There's over 276 coaching abilities in this game. You do need some prerequisites for certain ones, like talent developer. You need to have 2 players drafted in the first round, and you need to have spent 25 in recruiter and motivator. And all the way...
I just want to know, I'll do a lot of pausing, so bear with me. It is so many details to this game. It'll be so many different builds. You know how in 2K people drop 2K build videos. Well, this year they're gonna be dropping coach build videos. How to make the best coach, how to make the best the best coach for doing this, for doing that. That'll be super interesting, super cool.
At the top, for CEO, you need to win 2 national championships and spin 100 in any tree. So some of these you're not going to be even having the option to get to for quite some time. For this video, I'm going to be only focusing on the recruiting tree. There's a basic recruiter path and an elite recruiter one later on. But
Well, a lot to unpack on this screen. A lot to unpack on this screen.
To get to Elite Recruiter, you need to sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes and spend 50 coach points in Recruiter. This is broken down by position group. Now, how you want to build your team is up to you, but I personally like to look at the quarterback first and build out from there. Smart people would probably go to the offensive or defensive line, especially because when you upgrade Advanced Look, it takes less time to fully scout a position. And for offensive and defensive line, this encompasses quite a few positions: left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle, and obviously for the defensive line, all of those. So you could probably get more benefit spending it over here versus at the quarterback one, but I value the quarterback position so much, so I'm going to spend my 5 points right here, and I'll probably use my points elsewhere once I get more. The preseason is an incredibly important time for the recruiting stages.
I love this screen. I'm loving some of these screens we're seeing.
For this is you have more recruiting
add prospect. Let's say recruiting board. I know y'all can't see it because my camera's in the way. Recruiting board, prospect list, transfer portal. That's super cool.
Spend here than you would during a regular week because your team's not preparing for games, kind of thing. But you can see this up on the top right. At KENNSAW State, we have 450 hours to spend right now. Now, your recruiting hours is directly tied to your team prestige. So if you're a team like Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, those like 5-star programs, those schools have way more resources to use. So their recruiting hours is like probably 1,000 or more. So that's more than double what we have to use.
Super realistic. They have a lot more people on staff, some of these big schools. And, you know, recruiting is just a lot easier, you know, as a lot of the work is already done, as they got the big name, you know, the championship. So super realistic that they have more hours than, you know, a small school.
Able to scout way more players than we will, and they can go all in on a vast majority of those players. At a one-star program, I would urge you to be more targeted in your approach. Like in most of my recruiting classes at a one-star program, I end up with like 15 or so recruits. Like if we look at the KENNSAW State's team needs, we definitely need some quarterbacks. It says our rating is a C-, so that could easily be upgraded. And honestly, a lot of these positions need to be upgraded. But not having a fullback on roster, that's just disrespect.
I was looking at some of these overalls on the right side of the screen. Just damn.
So we got to change that right away. But our quarterbacks are only in the 60s, so that means our
60. That's tough. That's gonna be tough. 63 overall quarterback. He's 5'9", 190. No offense to you, Davis, but no offense at all to you in real life. But damn. Okay.
Time for the new recruits coming in.
It's gonna be brutal rebuilding some of these schools. You know, you got a 63 overall quarterback compared to, you know, you go play Georgia right down the road, and you know their quarterback a 93 overall, Carson Beck.
Going to be massive. Most of them are going to be over 60 something overall. The first thing you'll see is a recommend.
Whoa. Okay. I love the recruiting screen. I know we've seen this before, but I love this recruiting screen.
Tab here. This is what the game is trying to help you get players that will be easier for you to get. On the far left, you can see these little green dots. This will let you know if a player is interested at any level. You can see I sort right here. This guy has no interest in us yet. You can also sort by the interest one. We'll show you directly which number he's at.
That's cool. So when he searched by interest, he's a small school. He searched by interest. There's only one school that has him as their number 3 school right now. And I think that's pretty realistic. And, you know, this guy is ranked all the way down the board. You know, these are not top prospects that got him ranked high in their own list. And majority of them are from Georgia, which is very realistic, man. When you rebuilding these small schools, you're definitely going to just focus on in-state recruiting at first, and then you're able to branch out. So super realistic, loving everything I see right here. We even got a JUCO guy right here. That's cool.
Like this 3-star
Damn, a lot of 1-stars too. 1 and 2
quarterback
stars.
Daniel Cohn. We're number 3 on his board right now. You can also see if he's a JUCO player or a high school player. Daniel Cohn is in high school. He's got no offers currently. Sorting by this is going to be really important later, which I'll show you. And then finally, you can look at height and weight, but no longer can you look at 40 time. You can't look at bench press, squats, or anything like that. But
I like that. Giving away the 40 time, I feel like it's a little bit cheating. Just because you know off the bat how fast a player is, and that's certainly not the case when recruiting high school kids.
The way I like to populate my board is by going to any state and narrowing it down from here, because this opens it up and you'll notice all these players that are completely grayed out. This is because they have deal breakers that we do not fit. A lot of the 4 and 5 stars in the country care about things like pro potential, championship contender, and high coach prestige, things like that. As a brand new program, we really are not able to fit those needs. However, there are some players that can slip through the cracks here. Like we see this 5-star defensive end. He cares about playing time, which he's going to be way better than anyone we currently have on roster, so there is a small chance we're able to sneak in here and get him. I'll add Arthur Quick to the board just so you can take a look at him. You'll notice scrolling down, some players have deal breakers that we can see and some don't. But noting what they have can be very important because players have 3 ideal things that they care about the most, deal breaker being the one that they're the most passionate about overall. And getting to know that information early makes it way easier to start recruiting them. Like for Arthur Quick's example, we know the thing he cares about most is playing time, and we have A+ in that, meaning it's going to be way easier to pitch him for that, but I'll explain more about that later on. But if you see something over a B here for deal breaker, I think there is potential that you could land this player. Keenan Baker is an athlete, but it looks like he's a scrambling quarterback. And his proximity to home is A+. We have the lowest tier pipeline influence, but that could still come at an advantage. The only danger here is you'll look at the top schools down here. The schools we'll be competing against is Georgia, Clemson.
Super cool. He's a, even though this recruit is home, and he's from Georgia, he wants to stay home and play for a school in his home state, but he still does not have KENNSAW State in his top 5. Super realistic.
He's in Alabama.
And Georgia is obviously winning as the biggest school, in the state.
Tennessee, Ohio State. So if they even thought about looking at Keenan Baker, we'd probably be in trouble. Either way, I'm still going to take a look at him and see if they ignore him, because he currently has no offers. Daniel Cohn has already got a deal breaker on us now, but that's because we've been populating our board with other quarterbacks. You see, Daniel Cohn has...
Wow, that's cool. So you have just too many quarterbacks on your board. Wow, if you're looking at too many quarterbacks, it'll frustrate another quarterback, they'll be no longer interested in your school. That's interesting. Super cool, super cool. I'm also noticing the targets. You can only have 35 targets. I wonder if you have more, if you're at a bigger school, I wonder if that number goes up. Same with the scholarships. I wonder if you could offer more scholarships. No, scholarships would stay the same just because all programs have that 85 scholarship limit, so I'm sure that'll stay the same.
At higher, but it dropped lower because we added these blue chip prospects ahead of him. So if we wanted to really chase after Daniel Cohn, we would need to take these guys off the board. So you're like, what happens when I remove all these players? Suddenly, his playing time goes back to an A+. Now let's scout Daniel Cohn and see what he's looking like as a 3-star player. Well, now I clicked one time and I see his 85 throw power, which is not really what I'm looking for. Scout this 5-star Arthur Quick, which we do not have the quicker scout for defensive lineman. So it takes 1, 2, and 3 clicks, and we see that he's a gym for a 5-star. So this guy is
I actually love how I don't show the overall anymore. You get some stats here, you get some ratings here, but don't just show you their overall. You don't just know exactly how good they are. I actually love that about this.
Tremendous football player, but you can see how you could spend a lot of points just scouting players. Even at full scouted, you will not see the players full overall. Yep. It's on you to look at their top 10 attributes based on their archetype to make a decision on how you feel about them as a player. I feel like this adds another layer to scouting. It's more about finding players that fit what you want to go for more than just looking for the highest overall. Put a player like Arthur Quick, yeah, he's probably going to be pretty good. My guess is he's in the high 70s range, which is probably one of the more elite freshmen you can get. Now, one strategy you could do is you could look at, well, this guy's a 5-star. Even if he's a 5-star bust, that's still a 4-star quality player. So that's still a good player you're getting. So you could look at the 5 stars and just be like, I'm going to take what I get. I don't really need to know his abilities right from the get-go. But for me, I'm a little...
Right. So I'm interested to see, he mentioned if you're a 5-star and you're a bust, you'll be really just a 4-star player. Well, can a 5-star bust really be a 2-star or really be a 1-star? I'm interested to see that. I hope not. I hope not, just for the sake of, if I pull a 5-star and he turns out to be a 60 overall, 65 overall, I will be pissed. I will be pissed.
Little more curious. And if we look at Arthur Quick's overview, I mean, just seeing the teams that we're going to be competing against here, I don't think they're going to be ignoring a 5-star gym like this. They have the pipelines that are way stronger than us, but we might be able to get him just based on the playing time thing, but we'll see. I'm still going to offer him a scholarship. He's too good of a player to not take a chance at, Right. And in the preseason, you can only scout and offer players scholarships. Now, in my experience, I have not landed a 5-star player at a 1-star school yet, but maybe this video is the lucky time. So what I'm going to do is try that strategy with these other positions. Because we're so limited on recruiting hours, I'm not even going to scout this right tackle and just hope he's good later. Now, if we get farther down the process and he starts to respond well, then I'll scout him. But I'll take it.
Right. So it's going to be so many different strategies. I like that strategy. Just offer, all the 5 stars as scholarship. If anyone shows any interest back, okay, well, now we're going to, actually recruit you, put some hours into you. That's cool. I actually like the idea that, offering all the 5 stars you have some interest in, and then go back and, scouting. There'll be so many different strategies, but we'll see what the meta is.
5-star I can get here at Kennesaw State. You could try to populate your board with a bunch of like 2 and 3 stars, but I find that to be a little bit more challenging because you only have limited hours to scout, so you're not really going to know what you're going to be getting. The 2 stars have a lower floor. I'd much rather take a chance on the higher profile players. In my opinion, you're going to get way less of them, but the ones you do land are going to be game changers. A little tip.
Right. Interesting. I see where he's coming from. That's kind of like the quick, like you trying to turn your program around as fast as possible. And I get that. I think I'll first start recruiting, 3-4 stars, and then I won't go to 5 stars until, unless they're in my state of Philadelphia, or excuse me, PA. But I think I'll only stick to 4 and 3 stars, because wasting time on a 5-star that's outside the state would not likely be worth it. In my opinion.
Max Shelley and Clay Zelenka, they both have playing time as their deal breaker, and both of them are 4 stars. Clay is the 32 ranked quarterback in the country, so he's 1 spot higher than Max Shelley at 33. Deal breaker goes on to Clay. So I already know that Max is a higher overall than Clay is here. So I guess I could try to...
That's an interesting cheese. That's an interesting finesse. He said, just because he has this deal breaker, this player is a higher overall. He has a deal breaker now. Interesting.
Ignore Clay, but they could probably both be good players. Let me scout Max here and see what we got. See, he's got 90 throw power. He's got mobile deadeye, so he's already got some good abilities. Yep, he is indeed a gem, so we knew he was a higher overall.
And you can see their abilities, mobile deadeye, extender. You can see their mentals, super
overall
cool.
Player, good accuracy, 85 deep is strong.
Can't see a development trait. You can only see if you purchase mind reader ability, is what it say down there. Okay.
Wrong. There's a lot of coach abilities under the tactician path that can help you with short and medium accuracy, so being stronger at the deep accuracy is outrageously important for a player. And I find the playing time deal breaker to be the easiest one for smaller programs to achieve, because the higher programs typically have much better players, so it's going to be harder competition for them to get on the field. And you're probably asking, why am I talking about here? Well, these are the My School ratings. Like if you look at...
let's go back to that screen. That screen actually look cool.
And you're probably asking, why am I talking about here? Well,
so on the right side, okay, we see kind of some of the schools they're compared to. So they're kind of ranked as the 93rd ranked program, a D. Notre Dame. Whoa, why is Notre Dame down here? Top schools. Nebraska is down here. Texas A&M down here. Whoa. That makes sense. Well, that makes sense. Let's continue though.
Well, these are the My School ratings. Like, if you look at Kennesaw State, our championship contenders in the dumpster.
Damn, they got my temple.
It's as low as it can go at D-. Same thing with, like, program tradition, brand exposure. We're not going to have too many NIL opportunities for you, champ. So the way...
Wow, so this program is just bad at every single thing. Damn. Every single thing.
I approach it at these small schools. It's only going by proximity to home, playing style.
Oh, okay. It was playing style that had Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Okay, got it. Understood.
And playing time. That's because these are different for each player. You can see over here on the quarterbacks on my board, Max Shelley's got an A+ grade. That's because he's a quality player, so he's more likely to start right away. We have an interesting situation with Logan here, though. These other teams are good programs, but none of them have the proximity to home pipeline tier bonus from Louisville, Kentucky. Except for Louisville and Kentucky, of course. But they're lower on the board right now. So I'm going to take a chance on Logan here. He's got some good qualities here and some good abilities. Oh, we got our first bust. I mean, he does have 90 speed, 91 acceleration, so he's...
So he a bust, but he actually looks like a good prospect. Like speed, throw accuracy, throw power. I mean, he looks like a solid
probably
player.
Like a higher 3-star. He's got the option king. He probably falls off on the deep throw because we don't see it in his top 10 attributes here. Because for the different archetypes, it will show you different things. Oh, 95 throw power. This is going to be a gem. Yep, I didn't even need to click through that. Silas Marie looks like a ball player.
Right. Cool.
100 speed. I have
100.
I've never seen that, gentlemen. I did not even know that was possible in this game.
100 speed at 6'1", 119, or excuse me, I said 119, 192. Option king. Is he at quarterback? He got throw power. Whoa. They got Lamar Jackson.
Game. Holy moly. Okay, my jaw is on the floor. I think we need to change our strategy here. I don't care, Max Shelley. You're a good player. We'll look at you later on, but I'm clearing off this board. Yeah, when you have generational speed, you're going to the absolute top of my board. And we have the A-plus proximity to home on Keenan Baker. The really issue here is Georgia is extremely high on this board. I assume they have A-plus proximity to home too. If they even think about getting Keenan Baker, he's going to flip over there because they're obviously a much better program than we are. My Keenan's getting a scholarship, a firm one. My strategy here is just populate the board with as many talented players as I can to where they don't have a deal breaker. The reason I'm doing this and not scouting them right from the get-go is because I have limited points as a smaller school, but I can cast my net as wide as possible by just offering scholarships here, and then I'll make my first moves once the season starts. And with all these guys being 4 and 5 stars, they're probably going to be pretty good players nonetheless, even if they are busts. So at my level, I'd be totally fine with a 4-star bust, and we'd still be getting value there in my opinion. Right. Of course, you can set a custom schedule. I would probably avoid.
I think it's first time I look at the custom schedule. Okay, so Georgia, dang, he got all the Georgia schools on his schedule, man. But super cool. 2 buys is the new thing this year. Jack State. Okay, got an FCS school. That's interesting. That's cool. You could, so in the preseason is when you set your schedule. I wonder if you could. I hope you could set your schedule for future years.
Avoid scheduling the Georgias of the world, especially at level 1, because you're definitely going to be losing this game. But I do want to show you some of the whole field advantage effect stuff. So we'll pop into that game for 2 seconds, and you'll get a sense of how bad we are as a team from the get-go and how far we have to build up. Now that you can see we're in the regular season, our recruiting hours has dropped to 350. So we have 100 less than we did in the offseason. The first guy I want to check on, of course, is Keenan Baker, and bad news for us.
First thing I noticed, a lot more schools have offered scholarships. That's cool.
Georgia has already offered him a scholarship. The hope of getting generational speed out here is probably going to be dead. But you see, we do get some influence bonus for offering him a scholarship. Just 2 ticks right there.
So he got some influence, but he's still not ranked in his top 9 schools. Damn.
Pipeline bonus for him, only the level 1. All the teams in his top 8 right now are going to destroy us with those bonuses. Now that they've offered him a scholarship, this race is likely going to be over, but I'll keep him on the board just so you can see how it plays out. Seems like nobody's going for this 3-star fullback though. You know I love me some fullbacks. We'll scout him just out of curiosity, and he is a gem.
3-star gem.
Love to see that. All fullbacks are gems in my eyes. Like I said, I've never gotten a 5-star at a 1-star program before because you can see how immediately competitive it is. Of course, he's one of
so many schools already got the scholarship out.
The best players in the entire country, Arthur Quick. So my scholarship means a lot less to him. Only getting the 1 tick here versus the 2 ticks for other players. 6 schools that have offered him a scholarship besides me. So Arthur Quick, I mean, I don't even know if it's worth me spending any more points on it because I already know I'm not going to get him. Only 350 recruiting hours. I have to be quite selective here. Even though I know this is probably hopeless to get Keenan Baker, I still can't resist. I'm going to send the house and
send the house. Okay, that's essentially the best way to try to get an athlete in the house, but it costs the most hours.
Much as possible to get them, because it's not often you see freaking generational speed out here. 100 and 96 throw power to pair with it. That just sounds fun, so I'm going to try it. But 50 points is so expensive for us, so we have to be careful, and I can only choose a couple of guys to do that on. One way I can see I already have an advantage here is Salvador Pujols. No one has offered him a scholarship besides us.
4-star athlete from South Carolina, 6'4", 291. He's not undersized. You know, he's a solid size. Hasn't got any scholarship offers. Some schools are interested.
So this is an opportunity for us to sneak in there. And he's the number 4 center in the entire country. So this would be a massive.
So offer him a scholarship should automatically, I feel like, pit KENNSAW State in a running for this guy. And then he's going to send the house as well.
Game changer for us. I think this is an easy send the house for him. Now I haven't scouted him yet, so I'm going to do it now just out of curiosity, and he is a gem.
And he's a gem.
89 impact, 92 strength. Pretty obvious he's a quality player. Now that the regular season has started, a lot of schools have sent out scholarship offers to a ton of different players. And this is when I really like to look around and see who's slipped.
Oh, it's a lot of 4-stars with no offers. Wow. Some even ranked in the top 100. Wow.
offers to a ton of different players.
Wow.
And this is when I really like to look around and see who's slipped through the cracks. You can consider this like the low lock cheese from NCAA 14 in a way. Caleb Bloom, we have the A+ proximity to home, so I think it's worth gambling on that. First step you really want to do is offer them a scholarship before you do anything else, because these will have lasting benefits. So the quicker.
So what it is, you can only offer 35 scholarships, so that's kind of what's limiting some schools from, that's why some players don't have the scholarship.
You get that scholarship to them, the better. But after that, you can see there's options here. You can search their social media, DM the player, contact
DM the player is so funny to me. That'll forever be funny.
Friends and family, and send the house. Later on, we'll talk about the pitches, and we'll also talk about the visits. The more hours you spend, the higher influence you see here on the right, where if you send the house, you're going to get those 4 ticks, whereas the lowest one at just searching social media, you're only going to get the 1 little tick. Try to find the player that you value the most and go all in on him, because competing against these top programs, you're not going to get too many high-profile players. In my testing, I've probably gotten 2 to 3 4-stars in my year 1s of rebuilds, and then the rest are filled with 3 and 2 stars.
That's cool. He said he got 1 to 2, 3, 4 stars, and the rest been 3 and 2 stars in year 1, and that's realistic, super realistic. I'm super glad to hear that. Super glad to hear that you're not just able to dominate recruiting as a small school year 1. Super relieved that the game is not, at least from what it seems, not super easy.
So that should show you a lot of these players will not be committing to Kennesaw State here. So I got to try and find the guys I care about the most and go all in on them. Now that we've reached week 1, you see how many guys have already locked me out. This is how quickly it can change, especially with these higher profile players. I'm not in their top 8, so this is going to be a mass exodus on my board. But that's totally fine, because I was aggressive with Keenan Baker. So
whenever he removed the player, he got their scholarship back, so that's cool.
Able to slip into his top 8 before it closed up. Now, Georgia, Tennessee, and
South 100 speed athlete.
South Carolina are making way more progress than I am, but I'm not giving up hope in this fight because we've snuck into this first round. We're also still in the race for Logan Wisnowski because I dropped 50 points his way too. We send the house at both of them, which is the only reason we're still holding on. But because I added these players that have no scholarship offers, this is a real chance for me to leap up here. I'm going to scout him just out of curiosity, and this player has 97 speed. That's a huge interest for me. I love the deep threat players, so I think I want to be aggressive with him. Let's go straight up, send the house for him. And we're seeing that lasting effect on Salvador Pujols.
Okay, he's in the lead. Okay. So he's the only school that offered a scholarship, and then he also sent the house. Super cool to see. Under the radar prospect. Super cool.
No one offered him a scholarship. Then we came in here, offered him a scholarship, sent the house, and now we are number 1 on his board. The number 4 center in the country, we could be having a chance to get him. That's because we were paying attention, looking around, and seeing what we could get. Now, because I want to show you more than just recruiting here, I want to show you what it's like to play on the road and show you some of these home field advantage effects.
Oh, so Georgia is a 91-91 across the board. What y'all think the score is going to be? I think they're going to win by 50.
Because it's freaking crazy. Now, Georgia is 20 overall points higher than us. They're the number 1 ranked team in the country, and their Stadium Pulse, aka their toughest place to play ranking, is top 10.
Hello and welcome to Athens, Georgia, the classic city and a classic day for college football.
Chills.
The atmosphere absolutely exhilarating as the Georgia Bulldogs set to tee it up at Sanford Stadium to start this season. Today's matchup, a battle in the Peach State, and when you square off against another team that was raised on the red clay, the emotion runs a little deeper. As we'll see a squad from Conference USA, the Kennesaw State Owls, taking on the number 1 team in the land, the Georgia Bulldogs. 48 Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth, as always, by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer.
Do like the graphics that pop up. Oh my gosh, Stadium Pulse toughness ranked number 1. Yeah, I knew this was going to be difficult. You can see everyone's composure is in the dumpster. We're as cold as we can get because we're playing on the road in a tough environment. Strategy is probably to try and run the ball, which is going to be difficult against elite linebackers and defensive line that Georgia has. I don't even know what button my tight end is. If I tried a hot route, it's not even possible for those players. I can only do the ones I know. I think that's due to the mental abilities for my quarterback and his composure rating currently. We're going to try and throw it low to the tight.
His quarterback is a 63 overall, so that makes sense.
It in and he drops it. I would love to do an out route with the player on the left, but I'm not going to be able to, so I'll do it with the player on the right. But he's struggling to hear me. I think it went through. He tapped his helmet like he did. Oh, that's a horrible ball. Not really the good arm strength that we're hoping for. Probably should have lobbed that over. That's going to be an interception, and this crowd is about to erupt. Well, this is probably hopeless, but I'll try to play defense. Can we get around the corner? Just try and slow him down. We're not going to stop him. Georgia has so many impact players. There's no limit to that. So all those stars means that's a high-quality player they got. We only got like one on defense, which the minimum is one. We are just simply outclassed in every area. And when you're adding on the home field advantage effects, it gets even more terrifying. Lobbing it in there. Oh, he caught that. Are we sure that's a touchdown? The home field advantage effects are way more intimidating in this game than they ever were in NCAA 14. I mean, you still have the squiggly lines and stuff, but it goes another level. Okay, we know the post route, but they're running 3 high, so it doesn't really help me too much. Can we do a slant route for Bo? He doesn't know. It's going to be a false start.
Wow,
we went too low and tried to do hot routes low in the play clock, which leads to a higher chance of fall.
Wow, he said if you do hot routes late in the play clock, you'll get false starts. That's new. That's a new one. I can't lie.
All starts. I'm going to try to block the running back here.
Wow.
Oh, he heard me. He's right next to me. Good. I really want to hit the tight end if possible, but they're blitzing. Throw it on a dime, but way off the mark. Do not have the accuracy for my quarterback. Try and scramble, champ.
Get down,
oh, my.
get down.
I'm terrified. In open field with like 6 Georgia Bulldogs in my face. Oh my gosh, I keep trying to tell my circle button to run a slant, but he won't hear me. I think he finally heard me after like 6 tries. That is how difficult it is to make it happen. Oh, reach up there and try and grab it, but they push it out. But I think you get the idea here now. Georgia's going to stomp us in the simulation too. Yeah, at halftime it's 45-10. 52,
Damn,
60.
wow.
Oh my gosh, they're going to drop so many on us. So I think it's pretty obvious we have a long way to rebuild if we're getting beat by 60 points. I mean, Georgia's the best team in the country, so that's a good measuring stick for how far you have to go. 8 touchdowns for Carson Beck. Oh my.
I said they was going to lose by 50. That do not look like Carson Beck, but that do not look like Carson in my opinion.
My goodness.
8 touchdowns.
Playing that game, doing a little bit, getting a couple first downs here and there, it got us to level 2. I really want to go all in on these quarterbacks, so I'm going to keep spinning here. I'm going to put it in most influential, so my recruiting actions have bigger impact. And I'm also going to go increase weekly recruiting hours for quarterbacks. Originally, I could only spend 50 hours on a specific recruit. If I go over to a different position like running back, he's still capped at the 50 because I do not have the coach ability to bring that up to a higher level. And your coaching abilities can stack with your coordinators. Offensive coordinator, he's an elite recruiter. This is going to be awesome because our recruiting actions have an even way bigger effect on QBs. And it looks like my defensive coordinator has it too, but they're primarily for defensive players. The coaching abilities can stack and have a bigger effect. Now I have a cap of 65 hours I can spend on him each week, so I'm going to get to that level. We're going to DM him and search his social media. We're really trying to compete with those top dogs. Literally, Georgia's #1. They're the dogs. Keenan Baker's now up to his top 5 schools, and we're still in there barely at number 4. So now it opens up the ability to schedule a visit, and honestly, with the competition we have here, I'd probably try to schedule this as soon as possible. And the benefit for us is we already know his deal breaker. So if you didn't know his deal breaker, you would have to start doing pitches. Usually you would not want to hard sell him right away. But I already know proximity to home is his deal breaker. It's not shown right here, but that's going to
So this part is a little bit confusing, but I'll try to explain it after he's done.
Going to be one of the check marks on the interest here. Each player has 3 check marks that are hidden behind these question marks. It is slowly revealed the more influence you gain on them. You can sell a player on just one of the interests. He cares about athletic facilities, and I definitely know he cares about proximity to home. So I'm going to try to gamble here on this one and hard sell him. But I also want to try to schedule a visit. This costs
right,
40.
So trying to break that down a little bit. You won't always know what their motivation is. So if you're going to use a pitch, you may have to guess. And that's essentially what he was getting at. But if you guess wrong, then it'll be a negative effect. So you're trying to pitch an athlete on something they care nothing about. You know, if an athlete want to leave, you know, want to go to, you know, a different state, but you're pitching on them, your pitch is for them to stay home, that'll have a negative effect on them. So
I'm going to try to gamble here on this one and hard sell them. But I also want to try to schedule a visit. This costs 40 later on. Bonuses slash negatives that could happen in each game. Like if I schedule a game against FCS, which is the Pandas, shout out UGF, I'm getting no influence for the win here because we're totally expected to win this game. But if I lose this game, it's going to be a massive downgrade for Keenan Baker. If I play a team on my level, there's going to be 2 ticks of influence. But if I beat a team higher ranked than me, like later on in the season here, I'm getting 3 ticks of influence. Find a game
That's cool. I'm glad they got that right. I'm super glad they got that right because yeah, if you play in a good program, a program that's way better than yours, and you beat them with a recruit and attendance, that'll have a great impact on them. And you obviously, if you lose to a bad program out of there, that'll have a negative impact. I'm so glad they got that right. I'm wondering what the bye week does.
But if you're really trying to go for it, I would definitely try to play a higher ranked team. Go in there, try to win the game yourself. And the way this is going, I'm probably going to schedule this for week 9 against Liberty. When you do the visit, you have to choose an activity for them to do. You definitely want this to be one of the check marks. Ideally,
so many different details. So many. It's amazing. I'm super excited for this. I can't say that hot. I'm super excited.
You want this to be their deal breaker, though. We already know his deal breaker is proximity to home, and obviously it had the A+ grade, so why would I go anything else? I'm sending him on that. We've spent 40 of the 65 hours this week, so I'm going to try to contact friends and family on top of that to get to that maximum of 65 hours. Always trying to do that on the players that I want more than anyone else. All these actions will stay the same until you change something. So for this fullback, I only have DMing him every week.
That's so you don't. I like that. So you're able to just set it and forget it. You don't have to keep changing it every week. I like that. You're able to, make it a little bit quicker.
Basically just means he's getting 10 hours a week, and that will stay the same unless I change something or he locks me out. And because I have no competition for him right now, I'm fine with spending just a little bit on him without going all in. I'm saving the all in for these quarterbacks, which is what I really want here.
Oh, he's in the lead. Whoa.
A little bit on him without going all in. I'm saving the all in for these quarterbacks.
So he's in the lead for this 5-star quarterback, in the lead by a lot, which is cool. Only 3 schools offer a scholarship, which I will argue is unrealistic for a 5-star quarterback. And he scouted them, and he was also a gem. But only 3 schools, actually in the mix. Or interesting. But yeah, super interesting. That's only 3 schools offer him a scholarship. A little bit concerning.
Quarterbacks, which is what I really want here. I'm being uber aggressive on this one position group, obviously. Now, the 4th tier is only increased starting interest from QB, so that doesn't really help me this season. And I know my second priority is going to be on the offensive line, so I'm going to keep spinning here, and I want to get to tier 2 to have recruiting actions give a bonus to offensive linemen, because I really want to get that 4-star center we were looking at earlier. Whoa, it looks like we're in the lead for this 5-star Logan Wisnowski, though. Kentucky is falling down the list a little bit, though. They're not using their tier 4 pipeline to their advantage. Maybe they're not spending enough points like we are. Maybe they don't have the coaching abilities we do. This would be my first ever 5-star at a 1-star program, so I'd be hype about that, obviously. But of course, Keenan Baker's the one I want with the generational speed, and it looks like it's an incredibly difficult competition. We did the hard sell on him last week.
Right. I would argue Ken Baker, what's his name? Ken Baker is the better player here, even though he's a 5-star. But just seeing his attributes was special. I think he had like 96 throw power with the speed. So maybe that's why, this athlete right here is getting recruited more heavily by, he actually has 4 scholarships.
Generational speed, and looks like it's an incredibly difficult competition. We did the hard sell on him last week, so we get the 5 ticks of influence. So he's definitely responding well to that. And that's going to remain every single time we do it. And we guessed correctly, all 3 of his ideal motivations were exactly what we pitched to him. So he cares about athletic facilities, champion.
But I feel like if you pitch something, that's one of his motivations, but you're bad at it, that should have a negative almost. If you pitch athletic facilities and your facilities suck, that should be a bad thing. What is your pitch? Yeah, by the time you get here, we'll have some better facilities. That's not how it works. But hey, is what it is.
Championship contender, proximity to home. Now, if a player does not have an ideal pitch that you have, you can try to sway him into the ones you really look for, but I don't use this too often. And in my experience, as long as you know one of the ideal pitches and you pitch that correctly, you're going to be totally fine. If you really want to maximize the pitch, you do want to have all 3 motivations highlighted. The only problem here is what we're pitching him, we have a D and a D-, so that could probably be leaving some points on the table, but there's not really much I can do with that as a 1-star program. And of course, our pipeline is only level 1 here, so it's not like we're getting a ton of bonuses from that either, whereas Georgia can take a nap with their 5-star pipeline and get massive influence. So I'm fighting for my life for Keenan Baker, and Georgia could probably just get him in their sleep.
A few moments later.
No! Keenan Baker reached his top 3 schools, and we did not make the cut. This is devastating to me. I was going all in on Keenan, but we obviously saw those top programs. The second they schedule those visits, it's Jover. Keenan Baker, you are a legend. Man, you would have been awesome to play with generational speed like that, but he will not be playing at Kennesaw State. I'll leave you on the board out of respect, though. Now, Logan Wisnowski is my new option here, this 5-star QB. Even though he's down to his top 3, Keenan is still scheduled for a visit against Liberty, so I don't want them to have a competitive visit. You can see it right there. So I'm going to move him to Sam Houston State instead. Still the same risk to reward ratio out here, and Logan cares about proximity to home as well, so that's what I'm going to do. Family visit when you come here. Yep, cool. Keenan Baker committed to Georgia. We knew this would be like an impossible battle. Damn. I mean, like, they have the Tier 5 pipeline. They've got the...
Makes sense, though. A top recruit that wants to stay home from Georgia, you know, yeah, makes total sense.
Proximity at home, just similar as us. They're going to win this battle 10 times out of 10. It's just if they paid attention, and they did pay attention. So I knew this going in that this was going to be pretty difficult. Again, I'll leave him on the board just out of curiosity, see what happens.
One thing I noticed is verbal commit. I wonder if there's a difference between verbal commit and hard commit. There's a difference in real life.
Happens because I have had some players decommit before, but I'll talk about that more later. I'm sad to see Keenan Baker being a lost cause, but we do get some recruiting points back, so we can spend this elsewhere. Logan Wisnowski, I'm going to do the hard sell on him, and Hometown Hero seems to highlight all 3 of his main interests, so this is perfect for us. Definitely send that. One thing I can do to get Logan Wisnowski even better is going to have a complimentary visit by adding Salvador Pujols over right here. You can
That's cool. I love the comp visits. I can't pronounce the word. Damn. What the hell? We're just gonna call it the comp visits with Logan. That's super cool. Give it another plus on the green. That's cool.
Complimentary visit. Schedule him for Sam Houston State, and then we're going to be locked in on that. In his deal breakers, proximity at home as well, so yeah, definitely going to be adding that there. More upgrades for my head coach. Going to be adding it to always be recruiting for offensive line, so we get increased recruiting hours. I can also schedule a visit for this wide receiver, Dennis Mueller. So we're just going to have maximum complimentary visits.
That's cool.
I can even add this fullback also at a complimentary visit. Just stacking all of these as much as I can.
Super
you can see these hard sells are working pretty well in Logan Wisnowski now. Getting the 5 ticks of influence. Whoa, and there we go. My first ever
5-star recruit commit mid-season from Kentucky all the way to Georgia. Or I shouldn't say all the way, but to Georgia. That's
5-star at a 1-star school, Logan Wisnowski. It seems like a lot of schools ignored him. Like Kentucky was the only one giving him a chance, but we swooped in and threw way more points at him. Wow, first recruit for Kennesaw State, and this video is a 5-star QB. Not bad. Oh, and we pair it with the center.
Okay.
And we also get the wide receiver in the same week.
So he just signed
it's just kind of a snowball effect.
So 3 4-stars. Only issue is those are his only commits right now. Mid-season, those are his only commits. For me, I feel that's a little bit concerning, but they are all top prospects. But you definitely want to bring in, you know, I feel like a 20 to 25 person recruiting class. At least that's, you know, what schools tend to do in real life. Try to bring in, you know, 15, 20, 25 players in from the high school ranks. But right now he's at 3, but they're all top level guys. And I feel like part of that is because he was so heavily pitting points into these top recruits. He wasn't able to look at any 3 stars or 2 stars that might have been actually gems or anything like that.
A 5-star and 2 4-stars right there. And this is why I'm telling you, you can get blue chip prospects at these lower schools. You just have to have heavy investment early on and kind of know what you're looking for.
It might not be worth it.
We do not even know Logan's development trait yet. You'll see that when he comes on campus, unless you have a specific coaching ability, but you'll see it when they come to visit. But overall, I don't care what development trait Logan has. He's going to be a great player right away. Obviously, he's a 5-star, and he wasn't a bust either. The number 2 QB in the country is coming to play at Kennesaw State. And we're pairing it with the number 4 center as well. But now at this stage, I probably need to be looking at depth as well. So what I could do is start adding players that already have interest in me. 3 stars on the board, and then eventually I'll go down to 2 and 1 stars. I add out my depth later on. You want to find your key playmakers early, and then switch your focus. At least that's the way I like to do it. I'm not going to be shy here, though. I'm offering scholarships like they're hotcakes out here. Hey, we got that 3-star fullback, too. We've been on an absolute roll this season.
That's
cool. My goodness, we're just really having a great season.
Another 4-star.
4-star free safety, Caleb Bloom. The only school that offered him was Tennessee, and they did it way too late in the process. And what's nice about these guys, I know...
That's interesting. A top 100 ranked prospect only get 2 scholarship offers, and one of them come really late in the process. You don't really see that in real life. So a little bit concerning, especially out of Georgia. You know, top 100 guy out of Georgia only getting 2 offers. Interesting.
know his deal breaker is proximity to home, and that's an A+ for him. So I know that's not going to change. He's not going to be a transfer risk for me. So it's a win-win, really.
And, you know, defend the other side of it. You know, he wants to stay home. It's an A+ on his, you know, motivations. Want to stay home. So maybe that's why, you know, no other schools really offered. But I don't know. Interesting.
Bloom will be on this roster for the long haul. Well, we had a much better season than I thought. We're going to be making the conference.
Whoa. 8-4, 7-1 in conference play. KENNSAW State. They was a 71 overall with a 63 overall starting quarterback. Wow. I don't know how I feel about that. Interesting, I'll say.
USA Championship here.
We seen a peek at their schedule early in the season. I remember Georgia Southern, and it was like a third Georgia school, and then it was an FCS school. So maybe their schedule just was really weak.
8-4 in the regular season. And it's at this stage where you can look to hire new staff. You can see I only have a D prestige offensive coordinator and a C- defensive coordinator. I'll fire them both. So we'll just totally hit the reset button on them. Because usually you can find some better talent. Well, we made the Conference USA Championship and we get to host it. This is sick. Now, I really wanted to show off one of the visits, but it didn't seem like we had any players visiting in any big games. And they committed before we needed to show the visit. You'll see the difference here. Like, now that we're at home, we're totally calm. It's not a packed stadium at all. And Kennesaw State has, like, the lowest maximum attendance you can possibly have in this game, which I think they max out at, like, 8,000 or something. We're only playing a couple moments here. We find ourselves down by 10. This is less than ideal, but I'll see if I can
that was
try
interesting. So you can play moments? Okay.
We find ourselves down by 10. This is less than ideal, but I'll see if I can try and get us in a better position here. And what I'm going to do here is switch my coaching adjustments. There's two types of no huddle.
This is cool. They got the college football breakdown mid game. That's cool. That's cool.
You can go the normal no huddle, but what we're going to be doing here is the turbo. But this is just the fastest way to get down the field. So if I'm doing levels concept, it's going to be the same every time, but I can hot route and stuff.
That's cool. So many different layers.
I'm just going to drop this short, running back in stride. Look at this space for him. Way downfield, getting out of bounds. And now we're in turbo, so we're going to continue to run up the field. We can hit the turbo play, and it's going to remain the same. So the benefit of this is you want to be hiking this ball early on. And we're just going to take off with Bryson here, the QB. Look at this spacing for him. Defense was caught off their heels. Out of bounds again.
Look at the mascot. Look at the
defense
mascot.
Was caught off their heels. Out of bounds again. So if you're running turbo, you're really going to have the defense not able to adjust quickly. Like, they were not even fully set there.
It's interesting to see the stadium not packed, especially they went, 8-4, and they only see 8,000. Interesting to see the stadium not packed. I feel like it definitely should be packed for a conference championship is what this is, I believe.
I'm going to be able to roll out to the corner. Can we get around this defensive end? Yes, we can. Touchdown. 3-play touchdown drive. This game is over. They're up by way too much, but it's totally fine. I'll show you the trophy presentation here anyways. I have seen like 2 or 3 different ones for the Conference USA specifically.
That's cool.
Because I did a longer Kennesaw State rebuild in a different video that you'll see later on. But the fact that we made the Conference USA Championship in year 1 is pretty sick. Ooh, another 4-star.
Okay.
Another guy slipped through the cracks. It's a common theme. It's pretty much.
So he's up to what, 5 4-star recruits?
The meta in this game. Shedeur Sanders wins high backs. It's a common theme. It's pretty much the meta in this game.
Shedeur winning Heisman. I wonder if Heisman is impacted by your record at all. I wonder if it's like that in this game.
Sanders wins Heisman Trophy this year. 3,700 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 8 picks. I imagine this game loves Colorado. And when we got to the Bahamas Bowl, that's kind of nice.
That's
against
cool.
Arkansas State. So now that we're in this bowl week, I can look to hire my coordinators. Before you make a decision, though, I would definitely take a look at their trees. Now, this guy is a scheme guru, architect, and a motivator. So he doesn't have anything on the recruiting, but Drew Howell, like, architect is a very valuable tree in my eyes. It's one of the level 2 ones. It's one of the hybrid trees, too, so you need to have motivator and tactician to have it. Now, you're not able to investigate further what they have here. You're going to have to hire them to know specifically what they have under these trees. But I know for a fact architect is really good. Scheme guru is very good as well. And motivator would be nice because I've not gone down that path yet. And I've had Drew.
It's going to be so interesting to see what the meta is for, you know, these coaching trios, just because there's going to be so many different options. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Drew Howell in a rebuild before, so I know he's pretty dang good. Jason Lewis is probably lower on the list, but he does have elite recruiter.
F
That could be
Prestige.
beneficial to us, but the F Prestige is not too good. Chuck Sims seems to be mainly a motivator. You can see by the little like skill graph thing in the middle, pointing heavily over there. I think overall what I'm going to value most here is probably going to be Drew Howell. Just being in the architect tree alone is something that I really value, so I'm going to try and offer him and see if he's interested. There's no guarantees here though. He is being courted by Minnesota and Louisiana Tech.
That's
I'm going to
cool.
go Dom Campanero because he's got way more motivator than we have currently, so I think that could be valuable to me. Just trying to be more well-rounded as a coaching staff. Now,
That's
also,
cool.
you can look at the coaching carousel. Of course, if I wanted to move on to a new job, I do have offers right
Whoa,
here.
that's cool. He got some big-time offers. DC job at Arkansas, then an OC job at some big-time offers. That's cool.
And these will be flexible as we continue on.
No head coach offers. They had a great season. 8-4 for KENNSAW State is great.
Defensive coordinator at Arkansas, offensive coordinator at Michigan State. These are not the only offers. More will pop up next week. All job openings, and you can
That's
see which
cool.
ones are
Wow.
potentially about to be opening up. Like you said, I'm not getting much interest
Wow.
from Auburn, but one of those top candidates will be the new head coach over there. So it could be the Florida head coach could move over. It could be the Liberty coach or the Kentucky coach. And then you'll see next week that one of those positions will now be open. So if that
Cool.
does factor into my decision, I could wait to sign some place. But for this one, I want to stay at Kennesaw State. Now we're at the early national signing day. Most players have verbally committed at this point, but you can see we're still recruiting a lot of players. You can see I felt like we've had a pretty good recruiting class this year, but we've only
Wow. So this is realistic. I like this. I like this. I shouldn't say realistic. Actually, it's interesting, but not how I would do it. You know, ranked 86th, 6 recruits. 6 recruits is obviously insanely low number to bring in. 6 recruits. You have to hammer the portal if you bring in 6 recruits. You have to handle the portal. Look at my look at Temple, 83rd. We're gonna do way better than that. 83rd, we're gonna do better than that. But I get it. You know, you want to improve your roster right away, but you know you gotta bring in more recruits than this. And that just because he focused on so many 4 stars and then also 5 stars, so many high level recruits, he wasn't able to get a lot of depth in his recruiting class. And maybe he could make up for it in the portal, like kind of what Colorado has been doing. You know, these past 2 years, not taking many high school kids, but taking a lot of portal kids.
6 players at this point, so we're down at number 86. But honestly, for us, I think we're doing awesome. So I'm not really stressed about it. To have a high-profile recruiting class, of course, you'd have to
Okay,
be.
so just looking at some of these 7 5-stars. 7 5-stars. Wow. But yeah, a lot of these classes are, you know, in between the 20s. Yeah, a lot of these classes got around 20 students, 20 kids coming in, and then this is before you even hit the port. This is before the portal window, so you'll bring in even more kids. A lot of 3 stars, a lot of super cool. Wow, 24 stars is so crazy. 22, wow. Michigan number 1, Miami 16. Just looking at some of these rankings. UFC ranked number 2. Wow. USC at number 2 is wow.
Be landing a ton of players. Like Texas right here has landed 24 stars, and Georgia has landed 7 5-stars. Even landing 1 5-star is a miracle down here for us. So we'll just take what we can get at this point, and you can improve your ambitions later on. You can go in these rebuilds. You can see our grades have changed throughout the season though, like because we
Okay.
had a good year and won 8 games.
That moved quickly. Championship contender. That moved very quickly.
Our championship contender went up to a B. That sounds pretty high, but that's because of the 12-team college football playoff. And if we won the Conference USA championship, we would have had a much higher chance of sneaking in. It looks like App State is going to sneak in there because
Okay. First look at, you know, an actual screen in a rebuild as far as like the college football playoffs.
they probably
So whoa, come back. So we got Texas in there at 8-4. UFC, the number 2 seed, went 10-2. Wow, they had a better record without Caleb Williams. Their defense had to step up. Appalachian State 11-2. Florida made it. Okay. Texas Tech, not super surprised about that one. North Carolina without Drake May. Okay, interesting.
won their conference championship. Looking at the sim stats this year, looks like Dylan Gabriel.
Sim stats. Okay. Passing numbers don't look super crazy. Carson Beck, Shador. Wow. What is he, a sophomore? from UFC. This is UFC quarterback. I think he's a sophomore, I believe. Damn near threw for 4,000. DJ. Okay. Interesting.
Joel had 4,000 passing yards, 44 touchdowns, 9 picks. And then rushing stats, it looks like
Rushing stats. The sim rushing stats.
4,000 passing yards, 44 touchdowns, 9 picks. And then
The sim stats are always pretty interesting to me. Donovan Edwards led the country in carries and yards. Cool. Interesting.
rushing stats, it looks like, there's only a handful of 1,000-yard rushers. 13 touchdowns was the leading rushing touchdown leader. I had a 17
receivers. Whoa, you can see the overalls. We have a 79 overall leading the country in receiving. That's cool, I can't lie. A 79 overall leading the country in receiving. I wonder what his dev boost will be. I hope he shows. I really wonder what his dev boost would be. 79 overall, red shirt, junior. Leads the country in receiving. Touchdowns, at least. Not yards, touchdowns.
touchdown receiver, though, so a ton of 1,000.
And then another 75 overall with, junior. Leads the country in receiving yards. A 75 overall. Wow. Interesting.
Yard receivers, I guess.
116 a game.
More teams throw the ball in this game. Leading tackler had 95 tackles. Leading sack leader had 8 sacks.
Okay.
Most interceptions was 6. 8 deflections was the most. 4 forced fumbles. Only 3 block kicks the entire year. 1 safety. Only 6 defensive touchdowns. That seems low. Quite a few kick returns for a touchdown. Not too many punt returns for touchdowns. And that's just me quickly scrolling through it. You can look at the records national. You can look at it at your conference level. So you can see in Conference USA, Case Keenum has that 19,000 passing yards, which is also at the national level. So, good luck in Conference USA to break that. D'Angelo Williams. That's cool to see the actual names here. Devin Singletary. Do dig that, though. That's some good detail. Kennesaw State, it looks like they're transferring over their FCS records. I'm curious in Team Builder, will we be able to start from 0 for those? Because that'd be fun to have a bunch of records be set in year 1 and then continue those over. I am too curious, though. I got to look at the Bahamas Bowl presentation in the rain for this one, too. We actually have fans. Let's go. The little graphics that pop up in between are so
This stadium looks a lot more packed.
sick. Well, we got whooped in this game, too. We're probably not good enough to be here.
So a bowl game at their home. This is their home stadium, right?
We tried.
It looks like their home stadium at least.
Check out the presentation. I didn't see any trophy for the Bahamas Bowl there. Maybe they don't really have an obvious one or something. Not sure, but that's what we got there. Looks like we signed both of those coordinators that I was hoping to.
Cool.
Drew Howell and Dom Campanero joined the team, and now I can look more at his actual architect abilities. Oh, App State actually had a close one with Ohio State, but the top 4 is there.
USC.
Ohio State, Clemson, Oregon, and USC, so that's a pretty strong group. Now it's USC, Clemson
USC
in
made
the
championship. And no offense to USC fans, I'm just surprised that they did it without Caleb. Their defense has to have stepped up. I'm just surprised they did it without Caleb Williams. Wow.
Game. Clemson takes it all, 48-42 in the national championship game. Looks like we had a pretty good season because now it moved us to 1.5 stars for Kennesaw State.
That's cool.
We won 8 games. And we can see here on my school update is I have quite a few players at a risk of transfer. And now we're at the players leaving stage, so they're pretty much gone. But I do have a persuasion chance to bring them back. So this Jordan Miles guy, I have a very low chance, but I'll try to ask him anyway. Playing style for him is an F.
I would not be trying to convince any recruits to stay. If you want to leave, leave.
It's probably due because we didn't get enough stats in that category for him. I'll try to persuade him, but that's going to fail. I assume it's going to fail for all of them. For him, it seems like we got a D+. Oh, we did get him back. That is success. Same thing for this guy. He wanted pro potential, and that's going to fail. We have reached off-season recruiting, which is when the transfer portal opens up. So I'm sure a lot of people are curious how this works. Now I can still recruit these high school players I've not fully committed yet.
Cool.
And now you see we have 600 hours. That is for 2 reasons. We become a better program, so we have more resources available. And also it's the off season, so you're not scheduling games or anything. But now if we look at the transfer portal, same thing. We have a recommended tab. And the thing with transfer portal is these players have their star rating adjusted. So the rating is now directly tied to their overall. So like a 4-star is going to be pretty dang good. We're number
My only issue with this,
3 on this.
the transfer portal, I want to be able to see their stats from last season. Now, I want to be able to see if they're played. I get, having their rating, but I feel like I should be able to see their stats, Whether it's a quarterback, how many yards he threw for, I want to be able to see stats, not just a rating for transfer portal, because that's how it is in real life.
This corner's board, so I might as well take a chance. He's only caring about play style. Not often you get 4-stars in the transfer portal, especially at my level, so I'll take what I can get. I will say the transfer portal does move pretty quickly, so you don't have time to really cast a wide net. You need to be selective right away if you want these players. I'm sure people are curious, why have I not looked at 2 and 1-stars yet, so I'll take a look at a couple of them here. There's only one 5-star prospect in the transfer portal,
Realistic.
He's from Cal, actually, so he definitely wants to play for a good coach. We need at least a B- coach prestige there. We're not going to get him.
This past cycle of transfer portals, I believe we had 2 5-stars.
Now you can look at the
So having one is realistic.
transfers here. Junkies Hardaway, not worry about scouting him. I know he's going to be a pretty good player at 4-star here, and we're trying to schedule this visit right away. We're already in his top 3. Let's not mess around. Get him that early visit. We see his deal breaker is playing style, so let's just throw that right away. Knowing that right off the bat is going to be massive for us. We're just going to have him attend practice. Only about 11 players from the transfer portal that I'm potentially going for. I really want to scout these lower level ones so I can have a better idea of which one's the target. 93 strength. I think that guy's actually pretty solid, especially for a 2-star. I mean, his overall is probably lower, but he should be pretty easy to get. I'll offer him a scholarship. Ooh, workhorse downhill. Those are very good abilities. Could be sitting quite a bit at this guy. Javius Bond. So we could pair this with the power back. I'm going to go all in on this guy too, because I feel like utilizing the transfer portal could be big time. You'll noticing a lot of these transfers are not like busts and gyms though. I think their overalls are usually more set in stone. I'm always going to lob these guys a scholarship because I don't think it'll hurt. I don't think I've ever gone over the scholarship limit, so I don't see a negative to doing this. Workhorse, downhill, head first, balanced, armbar are all abilities that I love to see in power backs. Oh, but we're making big gains on this 4-star corner. In these final couple weeks, I also just start to load up the board with guys that are highly interested in my team. Like these tight ends have no offers at all, so we might be able to sneak in and steal them right at the end of the year. He's a Jim blocking one. Vernon Vincent, you're going to get some fat offers here at the end of the year. Another 3-star right guard coming in, another 3-star center. We got a transfer portal running back. Oh, but Hardaway, we did not end up getting him. He goes to South Carolina, and I really pushed to try and get that 4-star corner in the portal. Javius Bond looks like a very quick and good player. Now at National Signing Day, this is what you got. This is your recruiting class. Everyone hard commits somewhere. Now that we're fully through the season, all right, we jumped up all the way to the 40th ranked class.
Okay.
14
So he signed some more recruits, and now we're really seeing, what teams are at after their transfer portal class as well. And he moved all the way up to 40. Still, 14 is so low. 14 is so low. Might be one of the lowest in the countries. 14 is so low. And that's just because he was going after so many high-level recruits. So that's what you get, I'm not going to say that's what you get, but that's what you should expect if, you're a bottom program and you're going for top athletes. You won't sign many athletes at all.
total prospects committed. Like I told you, around 15 is my usual number. We got 1 5-star, 4 4-stars, and 9 3-stars. Nothing below that. So I probably could have gotten more depth if I added way more 2 and 1-stars to my board at the end. But I'm totally fine with getting higher quality players here in year 1, and then you fill out the depth as you go. But I just want to show you that it is possible to get 5 and 4-stars even at a 1-star school. You just have to be locked in and know what to do. Jaden Ott went to Oregon, it looks like. So that's a big swing for them. him. And now we're at position changes. So when we have some athletes, we can really switch them around here. And the way you do it is you sort by athlete. Here we only have one of them. His tendency is agile, so I'm assuming he's an offensive lineman. But it says he can also play defensive line. So he has 90 strength, 78 speed, which would be amazing for an offensive lineman. His run block is pretty low at 63. Pass block is 65. Tackling 84. Finesse moves 79. So yes, he is a better defensive player. And this will tell you he's going to be number one at the right end position, and we only have 2 players on roster right there, so we definitely need some help. So we'll put him over there. So Logan is going to be our day 1 starter at quarterback. We can't look at his player card yet until after
78 overall, 5-star. That's cool. 78 overall. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Changes, but we know he's a 78 overall now, which is very high. Oh, we did end up getting Khalifa Keith. I know he had the playing time deal breaker, but he still comes here. That's pretty cool. And we also got Javius Bond, who is a better player at 79, so I'm glad we got him too. And Julius Otis is 69 overall. Nice. And now we actually have a fullback on roster. Ooh, Dennis Moeller is pretty good.
97 speed. Whoa.
74 overall. He's definitely going to be playing right away. He's way more talented than most guys on this roster. How about these freshmen I added at the last second? They're kind of forgettable at 66 and 65. And the center I got is pretty solid.
74 overall center. That was a 4-star that he signed out of South Carolina. Okay, 74 overall is very solid. Reassured him next year he might be a 78, 79.
74 overall. I can't wait to see what their development traits are. We'll see that here in a moment. Jeremiah Burgess is 71 overall, so honestly...
Whoa, that's the guy that just was a 61 overall athlete. You move him to his position, he goes up 10 overalls? Wow. Okay.
A pretty good freshman, and it seems like we needed a ton of help at that position. You see, he was
just a 61 overall. That's so crazy to me. They must have had him as more of a guard, more as an offensive player, because wow, going up that many overalls is crazy to be an athlete.
Nor the defensive side of the ball. So if I continue this rebuild, I would focus on that in the future. Tony Francisco, 75 overall. He was the 4-star, so that's big for us that he's a good player. Caleb Bloom, 73 overall. That's going to be a nice addition as well. But that's all the position changes I really want to do at this moment. You see, at the end of the season, we get a massive boost in our head coach because we signed a recruiting class, got all those players in, and now we got some training results for players too. It looks like some players did not upgrade in their overall and other players did. Now, I wish I could have seen what their overall was before they went up, because otherwise I really have no idea. We don't have any of our...
Whoa, that's a drop ball. I hope that's not in the final game. So you can see what their new overall is, but you can't see how much they went up. You just have to remember... Whoa, I hope that's not in the game. Cause that would just be annoying. But not a huge deal, but just one of the quality of life things you wish, should always be in the game.
Our transfer portal players in this training results, so they were not able to train with us, I suppose. The cutting stage is basically just encouraging players to transfer now. Now we have 92 players on the roster. Cool. We need to get down to 85. You can do this as simply as, I like to target players who are too low of an overall because they're not going to contribute anyways, especially if they're seniors. But you can't make freshmen.
Wait, so you can't have walk-ons? Roster size 85. What about the walk-ons? You can't have walk-ons? Wow, no walk-ons.
To transfer. It is at this stage where you can have your custom conferences change again. You can do it at the beginning of Dynasty as well, but I just didn't focus on it there. I'm going to leave them all the same here, though. But you have a lot of flexibility with that.
That's cool.
But now
cool. That's cool. You could just change every off season.
But I just didn't focus on it there. I'm going to leave them all the same.
That's cool. The Pac-12. Bring back the Pac-12.
Same here, though. But you have a lot of flexibility with that. But now we got a recruiting class in. I think this is when Tactician really starts to get better. So I'm going to purchase this and show you what's in here. So you get direct ratings boost in this tree. You can kind of think about how the offensive and defensive coordinators used to work in NCAA 14. We get immediate boost to throw in the run, change of direction, throw under pressure, break sack, spin, juke, ball carrier vision, short and medium accuracy. So all of these are tremendously valuable. And I want my quarterback to be great from the get-go. So I'm going to go straight to tier 4 here. And I also want to have a strong offensive line, so I'm going to spin all the way in the top in this tier as well. And you can see these are already going to have direct overall boosts for our players. So Wisnowski is a 78 overall, but with these tactician boosts, he's boosting up 4 overall points up to 82. And this is stacking with my coordinators as well, so there's just massive boosts. But Wisnowski, he's got the star development trait. That's awesome. And 5 stars is crazy to see at KENNSAW State. But
this kid looks 30.
But we've done it, and we can see his potential for his throw power is extreme.
Okay. Interesting.
Extremely high. So that is cool to see. Man, I love this game because there's so many fun recruits you get all the time, and they're all so different. Like, some players have different skill caps. You'll see here his maximum potential for accuracy is only 9 out of the 10 ticks. So it's still pretty high, but he could have elite arm strength by the end of his career, and his IQ could be pretty high as well. So Logan Wisnowski is going to be a household name here, and he's not going to transfer out because that proximity to home is not going to change. So we got ourselves the quarterback of the future in Logan Wisnowski, and he's coming in with abilities right from the get-go. He's just that talented. Off platform,
cool.
sleight of hand, extender, pull down, mobile deadeye.
The thing they said, 5 stars should feel like 5 stars, and that's the way it seems right now.
He should be a quality player. Now, you can change his name if you want to. You could change his position, and you can make him a left or right-handed quarterback. Can't change his number.
Whoa. What? Whoa. That, nah. No way that's in the actual game. You can't change his number. No way. That's actually... Nah, no way you can't change players' numbers. No way.
Unfortunately. You can change his QB style. You can edit his gear if you want to. And you can change his physique. So I wish I could change his number, but you can do the height and weight, arm size, that kind of thing. You can't change the face, but that's because they have such unique...
Wow, you could change his height and weight of a high school recruit that's coming into your program, but you can't change the number. Wow.
Like AI-driven faces in here, so almost every player is going to look different, which
The reason that's concerning for me, because I wanted to do something where you have to earn your number. You know, you come in your first year, you know, you're a wide receiver. I'm giving you number 50. You got to earn your number.
I think is pretty cool to see. Khalifa Keith, he's only impact for his development traits. Oh, but he has some pretty high potential at a lot of things.
And then also for like LSU, you know, whoever gets 7, whoever gets, 18, you can't do that. It would just be a random freshman, giving 18, giving 7. That's crazy.
For his catching, but quickness, hands, and power, oh my goodness, he could be a beast if you have the right coaching to get him improving. What about Javius Bond? He's got impact development, play styles A, so that could change if we're not careful. Elusiveness could go up. You could see these upgrade multiple things, and they upgrade themselves. You cannot actively upgrade it, but he could reach maximum speed too. Great transfer for us. If he improves his attributes a little bit, he could be unlocking more physical abilities as well, which would be awesome to see. Darren Hyde does have that star development trait. He has no deal breaker, so I don't think he's going to...
That's cool. Star development at 66 overall. That's cool.
Transfer out, at least right now. Doesn't have that super high potential, so that's something to weigh in your options, but he's very low at like IQ and route running right now, so he's a little bit of a liability. So 66 overall with the talent above him, you probably want to look to redshirt him. Impact for Julius Otis as well. Gotta love fullbacks, even though he does not have high potential with how low these skill caps are. So he's not going to improve his overall very much because of that alone.
Damn.
Unless you had certain coaching abilities to unlock it even further. What about Dennis? He's got impact. He doesn't have tremendous potential. Like, he's already hit his quickness. He's not going to get...
Well, his quickness is 95. It can't get much, but interesting that his potential is kind of capped.
Any faster unless you have the coaching abilities to unlock those skill caps, but he can improve his hands and route running and his power and IQ as well. Salvador has the impact dev trait as well. He's that center we got, and oh wow, he has...
Whoa, he is capped. Wow. I wonder how high his overall would get.
Significantly limited potential, unfortunately. So he's going to hit his overall cap quickly. He'll still be a good player. He's already a high overall right from the get-go. 74.
It looks like he'll max out like senior year, like 87, maybe 86.
But with the coaching bonuses, it's up to 78. So you can see how strong the tactician one is. So if you're trying to win right away, you might want to look to do that. It's always fun to see what players end up having, because you really don't know what their skill caps are until you look at it, or their development trait, unless you have a specific ability. Now I'm going to go back to my custom schedules and do the FCS Southeast Pandas, because I got to play against my own team. I want to get Wisnowski on the field. I want to see him in action. Wow, our overall jumped to 82. That is a massive jump.
Wow. Impressive. 70 overall team right here. Okay. They are a FCS team, but 70 overall. He jumped 11 overalls in 1 year. 11 overalls, and he only brought in how many players? 14? What I remember? Six high school guys, and then the rest transfers. Jumped up 11 overalls.
Probably due to Wisnowski and all the quality freshmen we just got in there, as well as the transfer portal players.
As we'll see, the Panda.
Let's see the Pandas. Logan Wisnowski, first 5-star in team history. We're going to bomb it deep on the first one. He takes a hit. We got Mueller downfield, and it's going to be a touchdown on his first ever play. That is hype. That's going to be a great connection.
That's that 97 speed.
If you wear glasses or contacts, I have a bit of bad news for you. Life with glasses and contacts.
Ball, he's going to change the culture of this program, and that's why I think I love this game so much already. There's been such fun recruits. They're always so unique. Every time I get a player like this, I just want to play it a zillion years into the future, but obviously I can't do it in this video. Can he scramble around too? Do that thing, Logan. Big man.
The screenplay, it looks smooth.
Bond in space. Let him cut around, guys. Spin move. Oh, he's got the juice for sure.
Gameplay looks smooth.
Oh, lob that up. Another touchdown to his favorite target. Freshman to freshman.
Triangle.
Oh, he's so open. They forgot about him deep. Yeah, this FCS school does not know how to play good coverage. It's going to be a third touchdown for Logan. We're fireworks already. Oh, what a dime. Logan's a legend. 4 touchdowns. Ooh, throw on the run, and that's still money. This makes me want to just play through it for like 10 years down the road. Like, I already know that connection would be incredible and be a fun one for the long haul.
Good ball.
Lead him with that pass, and they just can't keep up with us now. 5th touchdown. A lot of space to run for Logan. Keep to that outside, try and stiff arm him. Oops, interception over the middle. That's not good. Well, I've thrown 3 picks because I keep just hurling it to the end zone, so don't judge me. I'm not known for my reads, but with a 5-star quarterback, you're able to make some big plays.
Good ball.
It's the most volatile day ever.
Good ball.
Hey, touchdown, Khalifa. Now we'll just kneel it down and take our victory. You see it automatically goes down when it's pretty much over. We're now going to be a legend here on campus.
Quality of life.
Player of the game goes to the receiver because I threw like 4 picks with Wisnowski off screen. You don't need to know that, all right? It's just fun here, okay? Wisnowski in his debut, 382 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's just the Drewski effect. I also wanted to quickly mention you can get players that are decommitted from other schools to commit to your school.
That's
I had
cool.
this one player when I was first testing out. I didn't have commentary for it, but it was a player named Devon Kalu. I had the lead on him for a while, but then Georgia out of nowhere swooped in and snatched him. He was a 4-star wide receiver, so of course they were going to come in and challenge us at some point. Then I go to...
That's cool. I was wondering if that was possible. Like, you know, athletes, after they verbally commit, will they, you know, decommit, go to another school? Because it happens way too often in real life, but it happens all the time.
Signing day, and I see that he is decommitted from Georgia. So I immediately jump back on the train, fire as many points as I can in the offseason, and we ended up landing him. So it was just a cool story there. Devon Kalu, able to get him committed, and guess what I did with him? His first play on campus. Of course, that guy scores a touchdown too. I've seen so many cool things in this game so far, and I can't wait to just invest so many hours into it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video of kind of just like looking around the mode and seeing different things that happen. Anyways, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. You're all legends in my book, and as for me, I am Drew Morris, Big Old Drewski, not the expert, and also...
Man, shout out to Not the Expert for dropping this, man. Super excited for this game. Super excited, man. Some takeaways are, I think the game will be great. I know, as you know, I know it's real big, but I think the game will be very great. I've seen a few things that I question as far as, you know, some athletes not getting recruited by a lot of programs. And I think thinking more about that, I think what it was, you know, after that athlete or after the school is already out on the program, they pull back their scholarship. And we seen, you know, Not the Expert do that a few times after, you know, an athlete no longer had them in his top 5 and, you know, locked them out. He pulled his scholarship. So I'm thinking maybe that happened, and that maybe that's why, you know, only say a player have 2 scholarship offers when, you know, in reality they probably have like 30. Especially some of these 5-stars, you know, they're getting so many offers. They're not gonna have 2 offers. So I'm thinking maybe that's what happened. But overall, super excited, man. Super excited for my franchise. If y'all made it all the way to the video, shout out to you, man. Drop a comment. Let me know you made it all the way to the video, man. Drop a sub, and man, check out my rebuilds. Check out some of my other videos, man. We got a lot of things in store. But I appreciate y'all for watching.